My name is Al McMahon. I'm president of the Sudbury Local 612. I am a letter carrier. And Phil?
Yeah.
Right
Phil
here.
Marsh. I'm the second vice president of our local executive. I'm a postal clerk in Sudbury.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say to all the citizens of the greater city of Sudbury, Espanola, Manitoulin Island, and the French River area. Also to the large, medium, and small businesses, our local members who provide postal service do not want to strike, nor be locked out. We want a negotiated settlement, and that remains our goal. There is no plan on issuing strike notice. We want to continue serving the public with mail delivery. We are currently negotiating to achieve a fair settlement. Canada Post is currently and has been for 20 years a profitable corporation. They should be looking at expanding services such as postal banking, as other postal administrations are doing around the world. Focus on that instead of cutting services. In 2014, Canada Post made a profit of $164 million. In 2015, they made a profit of $99 million. And in the first quarter of 2016, they made a profit of $44 million. And they want to cut services? And they want our new employees not to be part of our defined benefit pension plan? And also they want to cut positions and have a bigger workload for the rest of the ones that they're not going to cut. Pay equity for the rural letter carriers who are mostly women letter carriers, make 28% less than their counterparts in the urban letter carriers. And before I pass it on to Phil, I just want to talk a little on pensions, and Phil's going to talk a little more on pensions. You know, I was looking at the ticker thing on the news the other day, and the CFIB was complaining that us postal workers have a gold-plated pension. Well, you know, it's kind of weird, but last night I went to bed. I woke up this morning, I had a dream. Hey, I've got a gold-plated pension. Oh, I can retire. I can go golfing every day down south. I can move down there for 6 months. But then reality hit me. I went to check what my current pension situation was. And it's not a gold-plated pension. It's a plastic-plated pension. The gold-plated pensions are for the ones that are CEOs, the ones that are head of private companies, and vice presidents even in our company. So we do not have a gold-plated pension. We have a modest pension. And we believe that every worker should have a company pension like we do. So I'll pass it on to Phil.
Thank you all. Phil Marsh. Yeah, so there's two different visions of the post office. And our vision, the Canadian Union of Postal Workers' vision of the post office, involves expanding the services and expanding and generating even more revenue services And we're offering postal banking, which has been tested in numerous other countries and has represented up to 75% of revenue in those countries, such as where it's been tested, such as Switzerland, Italy, France, New Zealand. And what we could do with those profits is not only expand services with the post office, but also subsidize other social initiatives such as housing. And why not use that money coming in for banking, use it for keeping in the hands of the public instead of the large profits of the banks. And so postal banking does work, and we're offering that to the corporation. And the corporation even did a study on postal banking in 2009 to 2013, and it was deemed a win-win situation. The public wins and Canada Post wins. But Canada Post decided not to, they hid the study and they made it not available. It was an 800-page report called the Blacklock Report, and they made it unavailable. So we're asking Canada Post, where is that report? So because hiding that conceals where the, it just hides the details of the advantages of using banking. And we want to expand services, but this is in contrast, though, to Canada Post's vision of the post office, which is cutting door-to-door mail delivery, having a steep increase in postal stamps, and even right now, they're halting the mail system with this work disruption. We, the workers, want to continue negotiating, and we want to deliver mail to the public. What Canada Post has done is they've chosen the quickest path to a work disruption, and also how they're negotiating, not in good faith, but by their final offer that they gave us was their first offer, and they're not budging on that. That despite, and not only on the just our own wages, but on the public service itself. And these are cuts against that. And this comes from the president of Canada Post, who is appointed by Harper. And this is an austerity measure where you have someone from an employer and a decision maker of a public service is crying poor deceptively that the corporation's not making money yet, and that the workers are going to have to receive less. And typically with these austerity measures is that the public who use the service will be paying more for less service in return. And that's needless with the opportunities that we have. And with that, the typical austerity measure is that the people who make these decisions receive more money. Crying poor, 2 years ago, a couple years ago, the 22 board of directors received $10 million in bonuses. And before the election, Harper extended the president to 2 months before the election, even though the president's term was not done until a couple months after the election, extended him 4 years at $500,000 a year without bonuses. There's a Crown Corporation. How much money does the Prime Minister of Canada makes? I think that money, that the president makes more money than him. And we want, people are speaking, and they want leadership for this company to promote and grow this public service. It's created and built by the public, and the public are major stakeholders in this. So we want leadership that will represent the public's interest. So we have many good ideas to promote the post office and the public service, and we want to continue working and delivering mail to the public. And we just want to negotiate. We have no intention at all to strike. So thank you. If there's any more questions, or any questions,
Sure.
we'll take.
Al, earlier you said that it's not, although the corporation has given its 72 hours notice for a lockout, it's not a done deal. That's workers will be locked out. It's not 100% guaranteed.
Yes, that's right. It's not 100% guaranteed. It's possible we'll be working on Friday. It's possible we'll be working on Monday. We don't know. All we know is that our working conditions will change. As of Friday morning at 12 o'clock, our collective agreement expires, so we'll be operating under the labor code, and we are full intention of coming to work Friday morning. If the doors are locked, they're locked. If they're not, we'll be in there working and servicing the public.
You talked about pensions earlier, and Canada Post has been quoted saying that if they maintain the status quo for new employees, that it would cost them $1 billion. What's your response to that in terms of, I guess, that number and whether or not they can afford that and so on?
Cost them $1 million. Well, it.
1 billion, I said 1 billion.
1
Yeah.
billion, 1
Yeah.
billion, yeah, $1 billion. Yeah, no, I know, $1 billion. Well, you know, I've been around for a while. In the 80s, when we were in, you know, negotiations, well, company cried $1 billion back then. Oh, your demands are going to cost us $1 billion. In the 90s, same thing. And just think the current regime, in 2011, they said that they would cost, Canada Post to be in debt by $1 billion between 2012 and 2015. And another $1 billion going on till 2016 to 2020. Well, I just said my statement, right? How much money they made in 2014, 2015, and what they're making now in 16. They're making a profit. I mean, their projections are wrong. So that $1 billion that they're claiming that's going to cost if they took our offer is erroneous. I mean, it's unbelievable. If they show us, open your books and tell us and show us how that's going to cost us $1 billion, or cost the corporation $1 billion, and to let you know, it's not taxpayer money we're talking about here. It's about a corporation that's making a profit for the last 20, 25 years. So I don't know if that answers your
The
question.
corporation financially is very healthy, very profitable, and what they say about the test that they use for the pension is they say that they can't afford to pay this out in the future. That's built on a solvency deficit valuation. What that means is that they would only use that if the corporation would shut its doors and have to pay out all current workers their future earnings and pension. And we, the workers, believe that the Canada Post is not closing its doors anytime soon. So the other test is called the going concern, and that is very healthy. It's funded at 106%.
And the two of you are obviously, you know better than most the impact of the work you do. So can you speak to what the impact would be locally if you were locked out on Friday? How it would affect the average person in Sudbury, local businesses, and so on?
Well, it would affect, when you talk about business, mostly the small businesses do rely a lot on Canada Post, and believe it or not, they do mail a lot of letters out and packages, and they also receive a lot of mail. The old-fashioned mail, and so they would be the most impacted, and I think they've said that probably through you guys already. But we do know Canada Post for the last couple of months has been telling their large mail volumers, the contracts they have with the parcels like Amazon and so forth, to find alternate means. So most of them have done that, because I just got a report this morning. I know I called at letter carrier station to see how much mail it was. Wasn't that much. Yesterday there was hardly any parcels. And usually, just my route alone, I might get, I get 30 parcels, a big, on average a day. Small packets and the big parcels. Well, there's almost nothing there. So, how's it gonna impact the public? I don't know. I think, like I said, it's gonna affect mostly the small businesses, and also maybe the you know, the baby boomers who use the mail more than the other generations. You know, they get their bills mailed and so forth. So that might be an inconvenience. But you all know that we will be delivering checks, what they call socioeconomic checks, once a month and maybe twice a month. So that's an agreement between National Union and Canada Post. So we will be offering that service for sure. Actually, we're deeming it an essential service. So I don't know if that answered your question. I don't know if Phil can expand on that or not.
Well, that will hurt. A mail disruption. Canada Post locking the doors is putting a halt to the mail system, and that will impact local businesses. That's essential for a local economy, getting mail moved around. People still use the mail. It's very relevant. The Canada Post's revenue are $7 billion every year and growing. So that will impact people's jobs, people's lives. And us workers, we're being impacted when the lockout, if they lock the doors on us, or even before the lockout, we're without a collective agreement as of Friday. And that means that the work methods that we had under a collective agreement do not exist. We will be under the labor code, which is the bare minimum, 3 hours a day pay. So they could do whatever they want with us. They could have us come in every second day. So that's going to be a hardship on the workers, the postal workers in Sudbury.
How many members are in the local?
Around 250.
250?
Yeah, and that includes, we have a big geographical area, so that includes from French River, Altman, Wellville, right up to Manitoulin Island, including Espanola.
For the pay equity issue, can you speak to how many people of that 250 are the ones that aren't under the same, like I understand there's a different,
Yeah.
it's not different union, but a different
It's
pay
di-
scale?
Yeah. I mean, the rural rooters and the rural rooters and the urban, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
understand nationally that represents 75% of that pool is women.
Yeah, there's a big percentage, yeah, and I didn't know about, thanks for letting me know about 75%, because I didn't know that. Yeah, so how many do we have here in Sudbury is the question?
Yeah, for that rural
Yeah.
and.
I don't have
60.
the exact numbers,
60.
but how many?
60,
60?
So I'm gonna
60?
s-
approximately 60.
Approximately.
And could we guess how many of them are women?
Majority.
Yeah, along the national average.
Yeah.
And that's in contrast to letter carriers who are predominantly men. 70% are men. They get, letter carriers get, or rural delivery agents get 70% pay as what letter carriers get. So this is a pay equity issue. This is discrimination, and it's a human rights issue. Not paying women the same amount that men do for doing the same work, delivering mail.
So just to clarify, it's just the women in the rural areas that are getting paid less? It was a
The
men-
group.
The group, so.
The group
men-
as a whole, but it's predominantly women.
It is predominantly women, but men working in a rural area would get paid the same amount that a woman would. It's just.
Yes, but it was
rural
built,
divide?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
But up until a few years ago though, even within that structure, the men were still getting paid more than the woman within that group
Okay.
because it was just how those routes were made
Okay,
and bid, and they were openly bid.
right. But a woman working in an urban area would get paid the same amount as a man working in an
Correct,
urban area? Okay.
correct.
If there is a lockout on Friday, are you guys going to be out picketing?
Yeah, we'll be out there picketing, handing out information. Yeah, we won't have a choice really. So, Yeah, you'll see us out there.
Yeah, we won't be able to deliver mail to the public and do our jobs, so we'll have no choice but to set up pickets to inform Sudbury what's happening, that we're locked out, that we want to continue negotiating, that we want the mail to go through.
Would that picket line be out here, at this location?
The picket lines, they will be all over the place.
Okay.
I mean, we have 27, 26 offices that are local here services that we have members in. So, but there will be times where we'll have everyone together at one location, like the Sudbury Mail Processing Plant on LaSalle. So, and other than that, they'll be all over the place.
One of our Sudbury Media Co-op readers asked, do you know if there are going to be any actions or rallies that the public can attend to support postal workers, now or in the future?
We're not planning any right now. We're waiting to see what's going to happen on Friday.
How would you let the public know
How we let the public know?
if just people were invited to join a picket line?
How about you guys help us out with that? Would that be all right? We send another media.
We could do a media
saying-
release.
Another media release saying we're having, let's say, a family day or a
Or
public
just that
day.
The public is welcome?
Yeah, the public is welcome to a barbecue or something like that. I mean, we can
Sure.
probably arrange something like that.
And speaking to that also, Al, I'm curious if your union, your local, feels that there's a particular way that the public can show their support, be it signage, attending rallies, letters to the MP, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the last one you said is probably the most important one, a letter to MP, especially to Paul the As you know, we had, Paul had a town hall meeting Tuesday after the May 2-4 weekend, and Phil and I did attend, and we did just some presentations, but anyways, we're starting, so, and that's all public, that's all about the post office review that's going on, that the Liberal government has announced at the beginning of May. So what the public can do, right, is write letters to their local MP. They can also write to the task force, which is the public review task force, which is composed of 4 people chosen by the government, and they will take submissions until July 31st. So the end of this month, individual submissions and what their vision or views of what the post office should be. Because we have to remember, who owns the post office? I mean, it's the public. It's all of us. We're the owners of the post office. So, and you know, I'm glad you asked that question. I'm going on a tangent here, and I don't want to too much go on a tangent, but I am anyways. I'm on a break with Phil. But anyways, anyways, I keep thinking the public review and what our leadership of Canada Post want. The Harper government at the time, we knew that they wanted to, at the end of the day, privatize Canada Post. And once the election came, the public spoke. They didn't want any part of that. And the public review also, Judy Foote, the minister responsible for Canada Post, did say that privatization will not be on the table when it comes to the review. Everything else will be on the table, right? They're going to look at everything else, but not privatization. So we are kind of bewildered a little why Canada Post is still thinking about getting rid of door-to-door delivery. So anyway, so that's why we encourage people. We want individual people to contact this commission, and to express what they want to see with Canada Post is, because they are owners of the public that owns Canada Post. Sorry for the tangent.